What's going on, guys? It's Infinite Smarticles Gaming, and we're back with another Monster Hunter video. And I first must apologize for the lack of posting because college has been a pain, absolute pain. I've been so busy. But I have recorded a lot of videos, and I hope to have some time tomorrow, to be able to get a lot of them scheduled for upload so that I can get back on schedule. But if you have not heard already, huge news from Capcom about the Monster Hunter Rise expansion pack, and the 67-second teaser video is out on Monster Hunter's YouTube page, and wow, does it look amazing. So, of course, super easy to go look at that. I wasn't going to talk about that too much right now. I want to wait for more information, but what I do want to talk about are some, I guess, hypothetical situations, or some guesstimating, maybe would be a better word, for what I am expecting, or what I think I'm expecting from Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. There is a video that Rage Gaming Videos put out on their YouTube channel a few weeks ago, talking about some hints that had been being given out on Monster Hunter's Twitter page, and I wanted to take a look at 3 specific ones that they mentioned in their video. And of course, I will put the link to the original video in my bio, and so that you can watch it, because of course all credit goes to them for making the video of theirs. They made some really good points, but I wanted to add some of my own opinion and some of my own thoughts to what they said, because it really got me thinking. And I was like, wow, I think I can actually do something with this. And I had been thinking a lot of these things to myself, but I had never actually told anybody else. So I thought it'd be a great thing to make a video about. So, without further ado, let's get started. With the first one. Let's see.
Anymore. Kagero, the merchant, has lots of friends in unexpected places. I mean, he's a traveling Wyverian merchant after all. Some of his friends even saved a whole nation once. By my whiskers! Wasn't that juicy? Now here we go. That is some meaty information right there. Want to know why? The word nation. The mention that Kagero has friends who saved a whole nation. We don't hear a whole lot in actual canon in-universe lore about things like countries, so this is sort of big. We know that a lot of the villages that we are in Monster Hunter games are generally considered more secluded areas, but there are tons of implications in Rise that Rondine comes from somewhere with a bit of a medieval vibe, and I could totally see specifically that connect to this. That nation having some sort of queen who has knights and that type of thing as a guard of sorts. Obviously, I'm connecting threads that have no real business being connected, but it triggers my little lizard brain, so I've got to say something about it out loud. So let's stick to Fukushigi facts for a little bit. Kagero is a mysterious but heroic retired hunter who, while living his life as a traveling merchant, now happened to take enough of a liking to Kamura to stop here somewhat permanently. Surely something is drawing him here, keeping him here, that he can't find in other places, at least in this general area. We also know that a mysterious mysterious Wyverian dropped off Yomogi when she was a baby, who theoretically was born into some sort of distant aristocracy. The Wyverian who dropped her off was probably not Kagero himself, but his mysteriously stopping in this town, combined with how mysterious Yomogi's circumstances are, the fact that Kagero's friends are said to have saved a whole nation, which is easily the type of place that could develop said aristocracy, and the type of event that could result in a displaced child. My overarching theory, Yomogi is a lost child from Rondine's homeland, which is a nation that Kagero's friends once saved. Maybe even Kagero himself included in that party. Maybe I'm crazy, or maybe everything's starting to add up together. The bodies.
So, what Cotton says there from Rage Gaming Videos is really interesting, and for me, the information that he puts out is been exactly what I've been thinking. My only thing is, for what I was thinking is, Kagero, we know, hides his face in the game. There's got to be a reason he hides his face. I am not aware or up to date with a lot of culture from other countries and other regions, so there might be something that I'm completely missing that maybe you can put in the comments about a reason why someone would cover their face. But from what I know, a person's covering their face because they don't want their identity to be known. And from what Cotton said, we do know that Yomogi was dropped off by a Wyverian to the village. It could be possible that Kagero is the one that dropped Yomogi off and is there keeping an eye on Yomogi. That is very possible. Because remember, there's only a handful of people that know about Yomogi's actual past, and those would be the twins and the elders in the village. So it could very well be the case that Kagero is hiding his face to keep the people who would recognize him from recognizing him. And also, for me, Yomogi being born in Rondine's home village might not be too far of a stretch. It's either Yomogi was born in Rondine's home village, or Yomogi is from a neighboring ally of Rondine's home village. And in my opinion, I think Yomogi is a princess of some sort, or royalty or nobility of some sort. I honestly think this might have a very interesting hand to play. Of course, now if you connect it with the trailer that came out for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, you can see a ruined castle. Maybe there's a connection between Yomogi being displaced and that ruined castle and that dragon. Maybe. But those are my thoughts, is that Kagero is the one that brought Yomogi. Kagero hides his face to keep his identity a secret because there are some people that could recognize him. He's in the village to watch Yomogi. Maybe Rondine's in the village to watch Yomogi too, because it would also make sense if Rondine's there because she does have a connection to Rondine's village. Maybe she's the queen's niece, or something like that, a relative close to Rondine, or someone in power in Rondine's village. So Kagero's there to watch her because he brought her, and Rondine's there because she's related to Rondine and her village in some way. Rondine's story is that she's there to bring Hammond back, but I don't believe that at all either. I believe Rondine's true objective is got something to do with Yomogi, possibly. Of course, this is all just, none of this, what I'm saying, are facts. This is me just thinking outside the box here. Of course, it'll be interesting to see what actually happens, but there is another one that also talks about something quite interesting. Let's see. Right here.
Saying, sorry, big guy. The mark for Yomogi the chef's tea shop came from the cloth that she was wrapped in when she was brought to Kimura as a baby. Meow, very interesting. Well, what was I just talking about? That whole connection of everything leading back to Yomogi and her mysterious origins? Now we know that this specific symbol is from that land. Unfortunately, that doesn't really tell us a whole lot past that. We can try and decipher the symbol a little bit, and, well, it looks a bit like an angry frog face with a big chin and a mustache that's somehow shaped like a crescent moon. And the most interesting place that I can find this symbol in the area is actually this window in the hub above the item box. Everywhere else that this symbol is directly related to the tea house in some way, on seats for actual eating on, or in the flags beside the actual place. This itself is a bit out of the way, and the only time that I've actually seen it carved out of something rather than just a design on a cloth. Let me know if you guys can work out something more from this symbol than I can. Also, she has a unique version of said symbol on her outfit itself, hidden behind the plate that she holds in front of her. But she shows you the symbol when you start to interact with her. It has a couple of full circles above the normal symbol, with a couple of other details also changed. Just thought this also might help it all fit together somehow.
So, this to me is quite interesting. And as we'll see in this next one, this is the last one that I wanted to show about Hinoa. But that marking, to me, I don't know about anyone else, but to me, it seems to remind me of Yukumo Village. It seems to give me Yukumo Village vibes. And Yukumo Village is mentioned quite a lot in this video. And, of course, in this video, Cotton from Rage Gaming Videos, he is taking the tweets off of the Monster Hunter Twitter page from Fukushiki the Informant, the cat that lives in your house, in your wall. But he's taking those tweets and he's talking about them. And Fukushiki the Informant seems to be mentioning and referring to Yukumo Village a lot in the tweets. He doesn't directly refer to Yukumo Village in relation to Yomogi's symbol, but to me, that's just in my opinion, it seems to give off Yukumo Village vibes. That's just me. And I'll get into it more after showing you this one, or this little bit of the clip. But Yukumo Village is a common theme here, and I'll explain a little bit more after this right here.
The quest maiden loves hot springs. You thought I was going to say Dango, didn't you? Everybody knows that. I got the real scoops. She'd love to visit Yukumo, a real hotbed for hot springs. Meow, relaxing. Ooh, are you implying the redone Yukumo Village area? Well, I highly doubt it. This is probably just one of those nice little lore moments mentioning something about Hinoa and something about a town that we already know within the Monster Hunter world, because it really just adds a lot of depth to Hinoa's character to know that she likes warm water. Absolutely. Minota!
So, Cotton doesn't seem to think that the references to Yukumo Village mean anything. And he could be correct, because usually the guys at Rage Gaming Videos are 100% accurate with their guesstimations and their guesses and their opinions on information. I remember watching a video about Josh from Rage Gaming Videos was talking about how he expects there to be an Elder Dragon in the Shrine Ruins, and sure enough, we got Crimson Glow Vouse tracks in the Shrine Ruins. So, you know, that's just one example, but they tend to be very accurate with when they say something about a specific thing about Monster Hunter. They're usually pretty accurate, but, of course, what is there? There's no fun if there isn't alternating opinion. And my opinion would be Yukumo Village is mentioned for a reason. I feel like they wouldn't mention Yukumo Village if there was going to be zero talk of Yukumo in the expansion pack. While it's highly unlikely that the village itself will show up, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't show up. In all honesty, with the amount that it's mentioned, I would, if Yakumo Village was in the game, I'd be like, okay, boom, there it is. I kind of had a hunch it would be. If it's not, I also wouldn't be shocked, but I would be shocked if there's no connection whatsoever to Yukumo Village once the expansion pack comes out. Because, like I said, I feel that Yomogi's symbol has something to do with Yakumo Village. I don't know, maybe she might be from Yakumo Village. That's one thing that I don't think I've mentioned yet. Yomogi might be from Rondine's hometown. Yomogi might be from Yakumo Village, and there might be a relationship between, I forgot the leader of Yakumo Village's name, but there might be a connection between her, and there might be a connection between Rondine's village chief in this case. So, you never know. Maybe Yomogi's the key that connects them both. I feel like Yomogi's going to play an important part in this expansion. I don't know how, but she's being mentioned a lot. And her not knowing where she's from might be very interesting and might come back sometime in the story, in the expansion. But another thing to note, along with Yakumo Village, is I don't have the footage for it, but if you were to go into the Buddy Plaza in Monster Hunter Rise and go over to where Rondine is, you'll notice the cat on the right is painting. And the painting that he is painting is of one of the Palamute submarines. Well, I put my Palamutes in there, but one of the submarines for your buddies. But off to the side, he's got a table, and he's got paintings sitting on the table, and he's got paintings hanging on the table. Hanging on the table, or hanging above the table, there are 3 paintings. One of them is Burn a Village. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Forgive my incorrect pronunciations. Burn a Village is one of them. To the right of Burn a Village, of course, I've played about 400 hours of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, haven't completed nearly all the quests, but I was able to fight Valstrax, and I was able to fight the big giant skeleton Elder Dragon and defeat both of them. So I finished the guild quests and the village quests. So I do know that Burn a Village is from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. But to the right of that one is the ship with the Dragonator on the end, which we also saw featured in Monster Hunter Stories 2 by the bad guys in the story. That's not important either. But what is important is the picture to the right of the ship. And I guess I'm saying all this to give you a description, so if you want to do it, you can see what I'm talking about. To the right of the ship just so happens to be a picture of Yakumo Village. Now, why does that any relevance? It might not have any relevance at all to anything. But to me, that picture, coupled with the amount of times Yakumo Village is mentioned on the Twitter page of Monster Hunter by Fukushigi the Informant, says that I just don't see there not being a connection to Yakumo Village in this expansion pack. While I don't know what that connection, maybe we'll get the Misty Peaks back as a area for us to explore and to fight monsters in. That would be lovely to see Mizutsune in there and the Azuros in there. Maybe we'll get to see some Plesioth and some legendary hip checks again. Fighting Zenogre in there would be cool. The Apex Zenogre, maybe, we would see him in there. There's a lot of monsters that are in Monster Hunter Rise that I also had the experience of fighting in the Misty Peaks, which is attached to Yakumo Village. So Rondine apparently has been to Yakumo Village because the cat seems to paint things or paint pictures of places they've been to and things they've seen in these different places. And the fact that Burna and Yakumo Village are up there on the paintings gives me the assumption that Rondine has been there, whether that be for trading or not, but I feel like that's an important bit of information. And the fact that they mention Hinoa liking hot springs, I have a hunch that the twins are going to be there with us anyway in this expansion pack. So if she likes hot springs, what are the chances that we go to Yukumo Village and Hinoa's chilling in the hot springs? You know, I mean, the fact that they mention it means that it could be the case. Of course, it could be just like Cotton said, and it could just be literal depth to the story and mean nothing at all. But for me, my biggest takeaway from this video is Yukumo Village seems to be a very important part in the expansion, in the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion. Like I said, my guess might be 100% inaccurate. I have a bad track record of guessing the things that are happening in the Monster Hunter game, but I do enjoy doing it because I haven't been able to talk about this with anybody, so I figured I'd make a video. Bottom line for me, based on what I've seen, what I've read, what I've watched, is this is what I think, that Yomogi is royalty. Yomogi is either from Rondine's hometown, or she is from Yukumo Village. I also think Kagero is there to watch Yomogi. Because there was a little bit of information also at the end of the game where Kagero let too much slip from his mouth, in saying that he thought he was going to have to get ready and go fight. I forgot what he actually said, but when you completed the game, he had gotten worried that, you might not have been able to do it on your own. So the line that he says leads you to think, well, he might be a retired hunter, but apparently he's not out of shape. So I feel like he's there to protect and watch Yomogi. I feel like Rondine is also there to inevitably watch Yomogi and form an alliance with the village, possibly. And then, of course, the Yakumo connection being the amount of information we've gotten. I seem to think, like I said, that that's going to be a pretty big part of the expansion pack. Now, we'll see when the expansion pack comes out, and I hope that I'll be able to make more videos, more reaction videos to trailers in the future, because there will be more information about this for sure. But for me, I just wanted to get all this off my chest before it's too late and more information actually does come out about it. But for now, I'll just go on the record of saying that all the stuff that I've said so far is what I'm predicting to be in the expansion pack, especially some connection to Yukumo Village. It might not be the village itself, but, maybe the village leader has a connection to Rondine's village, or we'll see one of the areas that's connected to Yakumo, like the Misty Peaks, return into the game, which, wouldn't be a far-off assumption, especially considering the Flooded Forest and the Sandy Plains made a return into the game. So that could be very possible. But as far as that goes, I don't really have anything else to say about it at this moment. And so, but when I do, and when more trailers come out, I will definitely put up another video. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be me saying I was completely wrong. But, either way, it was fun making this video and being able to talk about my opinion. And of course, like I said, if you want to watch the full video, go give Rage Gaming Videos a subscribe and a like, and check out the video on their page, because they say some pretty interesting things in the entire video. But for right now, that's all I've got, and we'll see you guys on the next one.